So let's get right to it. Is your company just playing around with AI prompts, or are you actually building real, lasting organizational power? You know, it's the question every single leader is wrestling with right now. A lot of people see generative AI as just another tool, maybe a souped-up search engine. But honestly, that's a huge mistake. We're going to explore the strategic shift you absolutely have to make, moving beyond just simple commands to create what is essentially a new operating system for your entire business. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to pinpoint this thing called the imagination gap that's holding so many companies back. Then, we'll get into why just having mountains of data isn't the answer. From there, we'll talk about the urgent need for leadership, what that looks like, and then we'll start dreaming a little, envisioning a totally new OS for business. And finally, we'll see how this all comes together to literally transform the human experience.
And this, right here, is the fundamental choice. Do you see AI as just another tool in the toolbox? You know, something to tack on to existing tasks? If you do, sure, you'll probably get some small, incremental gains. But eventually, you're going to hit a wall. The real, mind-blowing transformation? That happens when you start seeing AI as a system, a foundational layer of intelligence that connects everything you do. That's the leap from just tweaking things to completely reinventing them.
So, what's stopping everyone from making that leap? Well, it really starts with what author and strategist Tatyana Kanzaveli calls the imagination gap. It's this deep-seated struggle we have to really, truly see the massive scale of what's unfolding right in front of us.
And here's the thing, right? This gap, it's not about the technology. The tech is pretty much here. The gap is in our vision, in our strategy. We keep trying to cram this revolutionary, world-changing technology into our old, comfortable ways of working. It's like trying to bolt a rocket engine onto a horse-drawn carriage. It just doesn't work.
And you see the symptoms of this gap everywhere. You've got teams obsessed with writing clever prompts instead of building automated strategic protocols. There's no clear leadership from the top, so everybody's just kind of messing around. And that creates huge new security risks. Worst of all, people are using Gen AI like it's Google, just asking it for facts, when its real power is as a reasoning engine. It can simulate complex scenarios and actually help you decide what to do next. All of this leads to a feeling I bet a lot of you know all too well. It's that cycle of being super busy, but not actually being productive. You feel like you're drowning in data, and you're chasing the AI trend because, well, you feel like you have to. So many leaders I talk to feel this in their bones. They've got the data lakes, they've got dashboards for absolutely everything, and now they've got this C-suite mandate to do AI. But instead of creating clarity, it just adds more noise. They're pouring millions into tech, but not seeing a real return. All because the strategy is missing. It's this frustrating hamster wheel of activity without any real progress.
Which brings us to this critical question. If this tech is so incredibly powerful, why isn't it just automatically printing money for businesses? Well, the answer is pretty simple, actually. A powerful engine is totally useless if you don't have a steering wheel, a map, and a driver who knows where they're going. Gen AI is that engine, but on its own, it can't create business value.
Okay, so if AI is an engine waiting for a driver, who gets behind the wheel? That brings us squarely to the solution: a clear, urgent, top-down mandate for strategic leadership. It really boils down to two words: evolve or die.
And look, this isn't just some catchy phrase to put on a slide. It's the stark reality of today's business landscape. The argument is that this kind of transformation, it requires dedicated, strategic guidance from the absolute highest level of the company. And that's why there's this growing call for every major company to appoint a chief AI officer.
And let's be super clear about what this role is and what it isn't. A chief AI officer, or CAO, is not just another IT manager. They are a strategic business partner who has a seat at the C-suite table. Their job isn't managing servers. Their job is to make sure every single dollar spent on AI is directly connected to a core business goal and to guide the entire organization through this massive, massive shift.
Okay, so what can you do, like, right now? Here's the playbook. First, educate your leadership team. AI literacy is simply non-negotiable anymore. Second, appoint and empower that chief AI officer to own the strategy. Third, build a strategy that's focused on one thing: replacing dashboards with decisions, moving from just looking at data to acting on it intelligently. And fourth, and this is the hardest part for a lot of folks, you have to let go of the past. Your old static playbooks have to be replaced by living, adaptive systems.
So once you've got that leadership and that strategy locked in, this is where things get really interesting. You can start building something genuinely new, a business that runs beyond simple prompts on a completely new kind of operating system. This move from prompts to protocols is a massive leap in thinking. A prompt is reactive, right? You ask a question, you get an answer. A protocol is proactive. It's a complex, automated workflow that anticipates needs, runs simulations, and takes action on its own, without waiting for a human to tell it what to do. It's the difference between asking your phone for directions and having a self-driving car that already knows the best route and is taking you there.
This all builds toward this ultimate vision of a GenAI intelligence fabric. And I know that sounds a little sci-fi, but stick with me. Think of it like a central nervous system for your entire company. It's this intelligent layer that sits on top of all your different software and all your data, connecting everything. It's what allows your sales data to automatically talk to your manufacturing pipeline in real time, simulating demand and adjusting the supply chain before a human even has to look at a dashboard. It lets the whole organization act like a single intelligent brain.
This is the choice on the table. Are you just collecting a bunch of clever prompts and cool tools, hoping for a small productivity boost? Or are you building a true AI strategy? An intelligence fabric that will completely redefine how your organization thinks, acts, and ultimately wins in the future. The choice is yours.